Hi, it's Splinterverse. In this video, we're going to provide an overview of Splinterverse Media's newest book, Dragonlance Companion. This 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons title is designed for both players and DMs who want to bring Dragonlance to their games. This 180-page book was created by a diverse group of 19 writers and 25 artists. Let's journey to the magical world of Krynn to discover what awaits you inside the Dragonlance Companion. First, in our character origins chapter, we're bringing back 3 classic races, starting with the Draconian, including 3 different subraces so you can really experience what it's like to be one of many types of Draconian. We've also got the half-ogre and the Thanoi. Each of them comes with their own racial feat. Now I'm going to read the first paragraph of our Thanoi entry to give you a feel for how the text connects to Krynn and can spark ideas for adventure. Divided into tribes scattered over Ice Reach, Thanoi are humanoid hybrids with features resembling those of a walrus. Also known as walrus folk, most Thanoi spend their entire lives in this isolated, frozen land to the south of Ansalon. Since the majority of Ice Reach is barren, walrus folk often fight for resources against the human barbarians and white dragons that also inhabit the region. Next, we have our subclass options chapter, featuring 13 brand new archetypes, including one for each class. What you're looking at here is the Artificer subclass, the Flesh Sculptor. And it says some artificers craft with metal and wood, others tinker with flesh and bone. The Flesh Sculptor is an expert with sewing muscle, skin, and sinew together. They use this talent to heal allies or unleash ferocious sculpted effigies upon enemies. Many soldiers who have fought in wars tell stories of the nightmares caused by the Flesh Sculptor's needle. On Krynn, the earliest Flesh Sculptors were servants of Takesis, helping create the first Draconians. Others have since learned the secrets of flesh sculpting, even those with more moral attitudes. So it's a really fun Artificer subclass. You can see here a Hobgoblin Flesh Sculptor along with the sculpted effigy it's creating right next to it. And you've got the list of spells that you get at 3rd level. You also get a proficiency in leatherworker tools. And then what's really cool is also at 3rd level, you get this faithful companion known as the Sculpted Effigy, and it has its own stat block that uses your proficiency bonus in a few places, and then you determine what creature types were used to construct your Sculpted Effigy, and then based on which of those creature types is dominant, it gains a certain benefit. So for example, if the Sculpted Effigy's dominant creature type is a fiend, it has immunity to fire damage. If its dominant type is a dragon, it gets an action called Vile Breath, which, as you can imagine, emulates the fiery breath of a dragon. So we're not going to read everything here for the Artificer. You're going to have to get the book to check it all out. But as you can see, it's fun and got really cool artwork as well. Another one of our subclasses is the Bard College of Ages. And it says, the greatest bards are oft remembered for their songs and stories, but on the world of Krynn, there is no greater story than history itself. You are a student of the College of Ages, dedicated to the preservation of the past in the form of living epic tales. You learn to weave magic using history's greatest myths and legends and imbue others with knowledge collected throughout the ages. So we're not going to dive into all the abilities, but I will say at 6th level, these bards get an ability that has 5 different options, and each of those is tied to a different age in Krynn's history. So it's a really fun, flavorful way to bring a bit of the timeline of Krynn into your game. Here we're looking at the Fewmaster, which is our fighter archetype with some really gorgeous artwork here. And it says the Fewmaster may be amongst the most versatile soldiers to ever grace a dragon army. They have no clear function beyond doing what needs to be done. Each dragon high lord has their own ideas on what that may include. Some Fewmasters lead a group of hand-picked individuals into battle, while others are spotted spreading word of the approaching army and the futility of resistance. Still more are never seen at all, functioning like the dagger in the deepest dark of night to ensure the opposing general dies before the battle begins. There are also a small number of Fewmasters that are given such leeway that they adventure on their own, spreading the word of their dragon army through great deeds. And so they have dragon armor, which connects to the type of dragon that your dragon army's high lord is, whether it's a green dragon, a red dragon, white dragon, etc. You're going to have different armor connected to that, or it can even be a metallic dragon. And then as you level up, you get improved dragon armor. And then you even get, at 18th level, the dragon aspect. And it says the draconic magic infused in your dragon armor has increased in power. You have advantage on stealth checks regardless of your armor's type. Additionally, you can call on magic of the armor to imbue you with a dragon aspect, which grants you benefits based on the type of dragon scales used to construct your armor. So, as I said, you pick previously what your sort of dragon high lord scales are, and that's how your armor is created. So in the example here with the image, the dragon is obviously a red dragon. So we'll read that ability. It says the next time you hit a creature that is wearing armor with an attack, its armor heats up, making it unbearably hot. The target suffers a -2 penalty to AC and takes 1d4 fire damage each round for 1 minute. So if you're a brass, gold, or red dragon armored Fewmaster, that's the dragon aspect you're going to get. And then you can dismiss your dragon aspect with no action required. And then once you use it, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. And that's just one of the cool abilities that goes along with the Fewmaster. And I think, personally, playing as a Fewmaster would be really fun because it gives you a connection to a dragon army, and you can deal with the consequences of not staying with the army. As I said, the Fewmasters have a lot of leeway, but maybe not forever. So are you going to be called back to the army or not? There's a lot you can play with that, which is really cool. Next, we're going to look at another one of our subclasses, which is for the ranger, and it's a grave speaker is what we call it. And so I'll read a little bit of the intro text for that. It says, many believe that your love for the natural world verges on the unnatural. You are a grave speaker, a ranger whose true fascination lies not in the beauty of living things, but instead in the forms of the deceased. While your talents include traditional ranger skills such as survival and navigation, these aptitudes are enhanced by an unnerving ability to track dead beasts or commune with forests long since destroyed. Grave speakers can be encountered anywhere there is natural life, as death is sure to follow. In the world of Krynn, however, the prevalence of undead in the Darkened Wood has made it a haven for these rangers. Here, they can practice their craft safe from the prying eyes of others. So you get that connection to the Darkened Wood, which is a really fun location on Krynn. You also get a different take on the ranger. Typically, we think of a ranger focused on life, right? But this, life eventually leads to death. So this connection is really interesting to see explored here. And one of my favorite features on this subclass is its 15th level feature, which is Nature's Revenant. It says you can draw upon your powerful necromantic magic when you are close to dying. When you are reduced to 0 hit points for the first time during combat, vines and roots rise up to puppeteer your body. You are unconscious, but able to move and take actions as normal for 1 minute. Although your body is animated, you must make death saving throws, and you suffer the normal effects of taking damage while at 0 hit points. If you would die due to failing death saving throws, you don't die until this effect ends, and only if you have 0 hit points. Once you use the feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So really fun, thematic, capstone feature for this subclass. One of my favorites. So that's just a few of the subclasses. We're not going to go through all of them, but you can see the list here. We got the Plague Domain for the clerics, the Circle of the Elements for the druid, the Way of Divinity for the monk, the Oath of Secrets for the paladin, and a bunch of others that are fun to explore, including High Sorcery for the wizard. So you got to check this out if you're a fan of subclasses and Dragonlance. In our backgrounds chapter, we present 2 backgrounds that work perfectly with Krynn, and they really complement the ones that are in the official Wizards of the Coast Dragonlance book as well. We've got the Knights of Naraka, which are the antithesis of the Knights of Solamnia. So you have that similar kind of faction, but for a different angle, a different alignment, so to speak. And you get the same structure where you have the introduction to the background, the basic things that happen like your equipment, proficiencies, etc. And then you get that feature, and then you get personality traits and trinkets, as well as connected feats. So I'm just showing you one page here from the backgrounds, but we've also got the Seeker Guard, and the Seekers are really a faction that is against some of the newer religions and the old gods and things like that, and it's about chasing down heretics and stuff like that. So you get that option. We're seeing a little bit of that here with the Seeker Sergeant feature. Then you've got, you can see the personality traits table and the trinkets table. So each one's going to get options for trinkets, and then you've got the features and those feats, which are similar in structure to those built for the official Dragonlance release from Wizards of the Coast. So they should work really nicely together. They should be balanced together. So with that book and our book, you're going to have a total of 4 backgrounds to play with if you really want to have all your backgrounds on an even playing field. But just looking at some of the personality traits here, it says, I believe in the Seekers and their laws. I will enforce them unshakably. That could be your personality trait. Or the hardships of life and the harsh job I do hasn't dulled my optimistic edge. So you could play that angle as the Seeker Guard. For your trinkets, you can have an old dagger belonging to your mentor, a token from a lover, someone that wishes to be your lover, or someone who loved you and is now gone. So giving you quite a few options. And we just read 2 out of 6 or 2 out of 8 for the personality traits there. So lots of fun stuff. Love the feats too. They're really fun. And as I said, we've got them for both Seeker Guard and Knights of Naraka in here. So you want to grab this just for these even. Our Spells of Krynn chapter has 19 spells for you to incorporate into Dragonlance or really any setting, including some conversions from older editions. So you're going to get spells back like Daze and No Direction. And then you're going to get some time travel spells as well. So we've got like Time Hop, Time Reaver. Time Reaver is a really fun one because it's balanced to give you actual time travel. And when you see it, you're going to go, thank you for doing it this way, because it's so balanced and easy to manage as both a DM and a player. The player feels like they're getting the opportunity to time travel, but because of the way we modeled it on some existing spells, it's super balanced, really easy to run. DMs are not going to be pulling their hair out. We're always designing, thinking of DMs and whether it's going to be a pain in the neck to run something. If it is, we take it out. There's stuff we've left that has not been published in our books because we just really don't want DMs cursing our name. So I'm here to tell you that you're going to have fun with Time Reaver especially. But we've got other spells that affect time, like Time Hop. It just has a little bit of effect on time. There's also Paradox and Nullify. Nullify involves removing the memory of someone from existence, so that's going to be a lot of fun. There's also some lightning and electrical style spells in here. So you've got Crackling Sphere, Shocking Spark, Enfeebling Storm, Electrical Storm. So fun stuff. Some of it from older editions and then some of it brand new for you. Quite a mix of stuff. And I'm excited for you to start casting these spells in your games. Our Items of Magic chapter brings you 19 magic items that you can use for Dragonlance or in other settings if you want. We've got old favorites coming to you with 5th edition conversions like Frost Reaver and Device of Time Journeying. Plus we've got new items like the Hidden Dagger Sheath and Spell Runes. So lots of fun for you there. In addition, we've got 100 trinkets that are Dragonlance flavored. Some of them connect to different regions. So you're going to have a lot of fun incorporating those. Those can be loot. Those can be something that your character starts with. However you want to work those in to give whatever you're doing a Krynn feel. Then we've also got something called legacy items, and this is a brand new type of item for you. It's really cool because what happens with these legacy items is that they have catalysts that unlock additional powers. So you've seen a lot of third-party types of items where as you level, the items level with you. This is similar to that, but instead of it being based on your level, although it could be, it's based on catalysts, so various things that happen to cause it to unlock its power. It could be slaying a particular enemy. It could be doing a great deed of some kind. Whatever this trigger is, this catalyst is going to happen and it's going to unlock more power. So there's so much fun that can be had with that. We recommend that the DM kind of keep the catalyst a secret so you can kind of scale this as needed. You can have it happen after something that just happens naturally in your campaign, or you can give clues to the players so that if you want them to sort of figure out ways to unlock it and they can work to unlock it, they can do that. But overall, the reason it's called legacy items is because these items have history, they have a connection. One of Dragonlance's greatest things is its history and the ages and all that stuff. So we thought having this legacy item section would tie into that and really give you a fun way to have these items that grow, but in an unexpected way. And what's even more cool is that we teach you how to make your own legacy items in here as well. So if you want to create a legacy item, come up with catalysts, you can do that. So lots of fun to be had here. And we're just scratching the surface because we've got more magic items elsewhere in the book, but I'll get to those in a minute. We also have a chapter called Traveling the River of Time, which is really designed to help DMs understand time travel, how to use them in Dragonlance or really any campaign, the implications of it, how it works. A lot of our examples of course are connected to Krynn, and time travel's been a big part of Krynn and Dragonlance for a long time, so it's appropriate. But of course, the examples are focused on Krynn. You can use it for other settings as well. And I'm going to just read a little bit for you, but this really ties in the history of Krynn and past books focused on chronomancy and things like that. So you're going to get a lot of sound advice on how to really consider time travel and its consequences for your campaign. So it says, time is a river that subsumes all beings on Krynn, continually pushing them along its winding path from what was into what will be. Like grains of sand, people are swept up by the river, helpless to divert their course. As the terrain may guide water, events may occur that divert the course of history, steering the lives of witnesses. Even the gods, for all their power, can't fight the course of time's river or resist the force of its current. Only the high god knows from where this river began, and even he is not certain of where it might go. And so that's just a taste of what awaits you in this really fun chapter. It's so well written. I really enjoyed editing this, and I think you're going to enjoy the ideas it has for you to bring time travel to your table. We're also bringing you monsters with our bestiary section, including some classic ones and some new ones. You can see here on screen we've got the Fetch, which is from past editions of D&D. We've also got the Scrit, which we include instructions on how to use the Scrit as a mount. So that's a bonus you get with that. And then we've got new creatures like the Cat Fiend here on the right. So lots of fun for you. I mean, the Fetch is really cool. It's you see it as a reflection, and only you can see it, and it's kind of a twisted version of yourself. So I love the artwork for the Fetch. So lots of fun with those creatures. And then of course some brand new ones like the Cat Fiend and the Ghost Rat, which has an actual connection to Krynn. We made sure that with all the new creatures we connected it to the lore in some way. We didn't want to just foist some random creatures into Krynn. We made sure there were connections and reasons why these might be around. So the Ghost Rat is one of those. And I'm showing this page so you can see that we've got even some high CR like 14 here, and that the stat blocks are really easy to read and nicely laid out for you so that they're in that format that you're used to. But we even took it a step further in that we list all the creatures by environment. We also have a table in the beginning of the bestiary that kind of lists all these other creatures from other wizard supplements and our supplements that you can use in Krynn. And these were selected from past editions, so we know that those creatures can be found there, so that you know that if you pick from that list, these are legit Krynn lore specific creatures that you're bringing in and keeping that realism and that canon that so many people respect and love when it comes to Dragonlance. We've also got on the very last page of the book a CR list in CR order, as well as a page index that if you have the digital version you can click on and jump to the page for all the stat blocks, because even though we're giving you 9 creatures, there's 44 stat blocks throughout the book because we also have adventures in the book. So we're giving you a ton of stat blocks. We wanted you to be able to get to them easily with the linked stat block index at the end, as well as having that CR index. So if you're looking for something, I need something that's CR2 or whatever for Dragonlance, we got that list right at the end of the book. Especially if you have the hardcover, you can just flip to those last pages and see it, and then quickly find what you need there. Dragonlance has a lot of gods, and it can be really confusing to keep up with the Pantheon because there's just so many. And so we really wanted to offer you a whole chapter on those gods and deep dive into them, talk to you about how their avatars are, their symbols and colors, their planes that they're connected to, etc. Especially with Planescape coming as well. We wanted some connections there. We've got a list here, as you can see, that lists all the deities and their provinces and symbols and all that good stuff, as well as their suggested domains. And what we tried to do with the domains is not only list the official ones from Wizards of the Coast, but list any that we've published in the past. So if you are a Splinterverse fan and you've been collecting all of our books, you can get some additional use out of those previous purchases because we've also incorporated those domains here. Each one of our past domains is represented, including the domain that's published in this book, the Plague domain. So you get some further use in terms of connections to the gods. And as I said, we profile how they're organized, how they're structured, and then we deep dive into each of them. But we have this new mechanic called herald items. And it has to do with the piety, because we've included the piety that you're used to from Theros for all the gods. So if you want to learn how to earn or lose piety, we've got sections on those for the gods. We've got deep lore for each of the gods, information on, the plane that they're connected to, their known avatars, all of that stuff. So if you want to make stat blocks for the gods or their avatars, you can, similar to Tiamat, you can do that. But what's even better, I think, is that we have these items that you can get if you're selected as a herald by one of the gods. You get a herald item, and on this page we're looking at Brancala, so we've got the leaf blade, which is the item that you get, and they're very similar to horde magic items, and that rather than steeping in the horde from Fizban's Treasury of Dragons and becoming more powerful as it steeps longer in the dragon's horde, these items grow in power as your piety grows. So not only do you have opportunities to earn and lose piety just for general purposes, for whatever the DM wants to do with that, but you also have items that are connected to that piety that grow with you. So I told you earlier there were more magic items hiding in this book, so there are. Each one of the 21 gods that we dive deep into is going to have that piety list here, and it's going to have these herald items. So if you want to give an item to a character and watch it grow over time through acts of piety, you can do that. So really scalable, really fun. And as I said, you're getting, in this case with Brancala, you're getting 3 paragraphs of lore. So you really deeply understand these gods. And, this is something you can share with the players. You might have to cover up the piety section, but you could share these paragraphs on the lore so that, if somebody's playing a cleric that worships Brancala, they can represent that in their role play. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And we've gone through each of the 21 main gods. We also touch on Chaos and the High God, not as much as these because they don't have domains and things like that. But we do go into each one of the gods like this. So you're going to get some really awesome material for use in your game. Dragonlance Companion includes 2 complete adventures, one for Tier 1 and one for Tier 2 play. With references linking the 2 adventures together, DMs can run both for a complete campaign or use them separately. Our Tier 1 adventure takes players to classic Dragonlance locations such as Solace, the Inn of the Last Home, and even the Tower of High Sorcery. Our Tier 2 adventure pits the adventurers against a contingent of the White Dragon Army, facing off against Minotaurs and Draconians in a race against time. In addition, we include 2 encounters in Solamnia. Players can rescue priests from a cult of Chamash or rescue some knights of Solamnia who are being hunted by Draconians. And to provide even more opportunity for adventure, we present 70 adventure hooks tied to the contents of the book so that DMs can even use the player content to craft their stories. There's a whole appendix where we have all those hooks. They're linked in the digital version to all the player content in the book so that you can use those to inspire or directly as is to create those new adventures. And of course, there's all kinds of beautiful artwork you can see in this particular screenshot. A wonderful picture of Solace that we had commissioned for this, and some great artwork by Saga McKinsey to give us some regional maps. So you're going to be really positioned for that. And with the digital edition, you get, of course, those maps and various resolutions, so you can use them with VTT if you want. And then I'm showing you just a couple pages so you can see how we've got some fun artwork for the NPCs that you're going to meet in the adventure, so you can show these pictures to the players as you go if you want. You can also see that we've got nice clean stat blocks. We've got Kinder represented. We've got, as I said, Draconians, Minotaurs. They're all in here. So if you really want to feel like you've gone to Krynn, this book is going to give you those experiences, and all hyperlinked. You can see in this example, if you have the digital edition, it's going to be one click to jump to a stat block, so you can bounce around. Even here with our Yezri Bramblebow, there's a reference to one of the items, because we have the hoopak in this book, so you can click on that, go find out about the hoopak, and go from there. So really handy to have all those hyperlinks. It's also bookmarked, so if you have your PDF reader, you can look at the bookmarks and navigate that way as well. Well, that wraps up the tour of this book for this video, but there's a lot more to discover inside, so I really do hope you consider purchasing the Dragonlance Companion. There should be a link in the video description to take you to it, or maybe you're already watching it on the catalog page. We hope you give it a purchase and let us know what you think. We're always open for feedback, and I really appreciate you taking time to watch this video and come to Krynn with us. We hope you have many awesome Dragonlance adventures. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave me a comment, all those good things. If you leave a comment, I'll be sure to respond to you personally. And until next time, happy adventuring.